this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. This is a look at all my bonsai, where they are at the moment. And I'm going to say right at the beginning, I'm not happy where everything is at the moment. But I'm going to leave it for a bit and see if I see if I grow accustomed. But really, when my daughter next comes down, she often comes up with brilliant ideas that I hadn't thought of, so things may be on the move. I'm looking at this staging because that was bonsai, and it's now going to be for a certain type of my orchids that need to come out for the summer months to get the brighter light and a bit of sunshine. So that's going to be taken over by orchids now. This came out of the grow room because it wasn't being used, and I've got a couple of trees on here that I'd prefer not to get quite so much sun. So they're so I'm just getting them off the glass. So there's only a couple there. There's one of my acers, one of the sister acers as I call them. There's my trident, which I need to get on with this actually. The air layer has taken, there are roots in there, and I've got quite what I think will be quite a nice tree above that air layer. It's got some movement to it, and some branch structure to be dealt with. And then we'll be dealing with the 3 bits that are left, but not this year. The extensions on these are just being allowed to grow to thicken everything up. That's all that's doing at the moment. So I'm not cutting anything back on that, but I will do the air layer soon. And then this is the project I've been working on most of the week. I got given some sheets of ply. They were in the carport, they belonged to next door, and he said he didn't want them, and I thought, well, thick plywood like this is a lot of money nowadays, so I thought I'll take advantage of that. The posts I already had out of his skip last time he had a skip, so all of the timber for these stands was free. And I took it all up to my son, who has access to a woodworking workshop, basically, you know, with bench saws and all that sort of stuff. And we got everything cut to size, and then during this week I've got everything coated up with a couple of coats of stain. They will probably get a coat each year in the spring, because at the end of the day the plywood isn't treated. The posts are, they're tannalized, but the plywood isn't, and plywood becomes fragile if it ever gets wet. It starts to disintegrate, so obviously the coat of stain needs to be maintained. So this will get a little bit of sun very late in the afternoon, early evening. This is the other sister acer, in my mind the better of the two. Mainly because it's got a nicer overall shape. I like this tree a lot. It's got lovely gnarly bark. It's got quite a good branch structure. So quite pleased with that one. And then my azalea, which has got nice form to the trunk, but hasn't filled out that much yet. But it's putting on a lot of new growth this year. And we do have buds, so we do have flowers. There's plenty more to come. Buds all over this, and it's a nice red flower. It's not a double; it's just a single red flower, and they're only just starting to open. So that's those two. And then over here, on the next to largest stand, is my Dojo. Now I've got a project with this. I'm doing a collaboration with Gavin from Not Another Bonsai Channel. We're doing a collaboration. Well, it's not my idea, it's his idea. I'm just joining in. So there's quite a few bonsai channels are joining in, and everybody's going to do sort of a 5 or 10 minute video with the subject title, "What is a bonsai?" This is part of my video. That's why it hasn't been trimmed. There's a hint for you. My idea of what a bonsai is will involve that tree. Does it look really good at the moment? No. How long do you think it'll take me to make it look really good? There's your hint. Then coming over here, I do have a problem. If I want to see my trees from indoors, from the kitchen window, and when I'm working on my orchids and all that sort of thing, then these bits of staging have to go this way. If they go that way, which would be better for the trees because they'd face the majority of the sun, then I wouldn't be able to see them because they'd be in a line looking from the house. So they have to go this way. And I've put the taller one at the back. That's the one that was up here. So that's moved now to here. And why I'm not happy with everything at the moment is one of my stands, which I've put quite a bit of effort in, is behind that staging, therefore it can't really be seen. I don't like that at the moment. The problem is they've got such large bases. Anyway, on here I've got my my birthday tree, my white pine, which is covered in flowers at the moment, which I wish it wasn't, but it is. When I picked it up, I disappeared in a cloud of pollen. Could do without that. That'll probably start me sneezing later on. Then there's my little, what is that, Alberta spruce, I think. And then that is my little forest of false larch, golden larch. And then this is my Scots Pine that I yanked out of the ground that I've yet to do anything with. But it's growing well, it's got some good candles on here. And if I'm going to make some pads out of the branch structure that I've got, these candles will be allowed to grow, and they will be allowed to open. They will be allowed to photosynthesize, become solar panels, and generate a lot of energy into that tree. And once they've done that, I'll cut them off. Aren't I cruel? And basically that will generate a mass of backbudding, which Scots Pine are very good at. That will thicken up my pads and give me something to work with next year, not this year. My white pine, I'm just going to let it grow for a bit because I'm not quite sure what it's going to do. The trouble is it flowered last year, and I'd read in several places and seen several YouTube videos that said, oh, you want to take the flowers off? So I did. And it took my new growths off as well, which is why I've left them this time. And you can see the flowers are down here, but the growths have come up through the flowers, so I have got new growths. And last year I pinched those off and lost those. So I'm just going to let this grow this year and see what it does. Let's get some energy into the tree. Didn't have a brilliant root system, but it was adequate, shall we say. So with some new growth and some new needles, we should get a stronger root system to support that tree. I saw a video recently, who was it? Xavier or Jason, one of the two. Jason, I think. On about white pines and the fact that they can just fail in the winter. They come from mountainous regions where it's cold in the winter, but it's Japanese winter. It's cold and dry. You know, they get snow and stuff. They don't get the miserable, dreary, horrible, rainy weather that we get in England. These don't like soggy roots, so it's imperative that it has a free draining soil, which mine has. But it also has enough retentive media so that I don't have to water it twice a day through the summer. So that's how I look after mine anyway. Then up here on a stand on its own, being looked after by the monitor. This is my bonsai monitor. He looks after them when I'm not around. Actually, he doesn't when I'm not around. He stays in. Mojo, my 20-year-old cat. I spend as much time as possible with him. Anyway, my hornbeam is up here. That's got its own place, and I just realised I put that the wrong way round. I can tell it's the wrong way round, not by the tree, but by the pot. I quite like that. But I like that a lot more. So when I potted this, I decided that would be the front. So that's that one. Individual stand for that one. And the lovely light green leaves against the darker corner of the garden means that actually stands out. When the sun gets on it, it really lights up. So I'm happy with that one in that corner. It blocks the path, but whoever designed these paths, I can't do anything about that. This is a rented property, so you know the garden structure has to stay as it is. But who the hell created a path to nowhere? Why would you want to go there? Never mind, wasn't me. And then over here we've got this little bench here has got my 2 beech, which is my standard European beech, which is leafed out nicely, lovely beautiful green, and it's done the long extensions like it usually does. I will probably take those back soon, but I like to let them harden off a little bit first, not take them off as soon as they appear. The copper beech that we repotted not that long ago, that's put on a nice lot of growth. The extensions are very good. That will now generate a decent root system. Quite a few roots were damaged in the repot, so that's that. Then there's my little miniature juniper, which I plan on keeping as a miniature. It's got quite a nice shape to it. It's not bad, but it needs some nice pads, so work in progress. And then that's my Japanese larch, which we had a prune with that not too long ago because the extensions were getting quite long, and that sacrifices the branches farther back. Is a classic example here. So you've got nodes here that could grow new branches, but this is taking the strength of that branch. It's sucking all the energy to the end. Yeah, so you've got to go careful with larch, or you leave things behind. And then behind that, and this is the bit I don't like, my Scots Pine lightning strike has got a stand all of its own, which was part of the plan, which you can't see because this staging's in the way. And I can't bring it over too much over here, or I won't be able to get to the shed. So this is a little quandary, conundrum here. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. I'm going to fall off the path. I'm not careful. The tree itself is doing okay. The candles are extending quite nicely. And these pads are quite well established. I don't really need lots of back budding, but I didn't get that much last year, so I'm going to work on generating a new lot of back budding this year. So I'm going to let the candles grow, same as on the other Scots Pine. Let's get lots of needles, lots of solar energy, and then take it off and generate the back budding. So that's work to do later on, and I still need to do the shari. I need to get the lime sulphur on that. It's fading away to nothing. That's that. And then we've still got this juniper to do. I haven't done much. I tried air layering on here and they both failed, so I've left them because they'll become gin. But we've got a nice tree in here. There's some nice form to this. I won't be messing about repotting or anything with that this year, but I might start work on wiring up the branches. It's doing its surge of growth at the moment. Once that settles down and it's done most of its pushing for this year, it might be a reasonable time to start thinking about wiring and branch selection, which hasn't really had much done to it. This shape and everything was not me. That was done, that was done when I bought it. This came from Greenwood, so from Corinne, a couple of years ago, or last year, can't remember. And then last but not least up there is my Kojo no Mei, my flowering cherry, dwarf cherry. And although I class it as a bonsai, I'm not going to wire it, I'm not going to do much with it. It's going to get treated as a pinch and grow. So where it pushes out long extensions, I'll just keep them in check and just let it do its own thing, really. It's got a lovely gnarly trunk. It's got some form to it. It does have a naturally twisting element to the way it grows. It does that on its own. Doesn't need a lot of help. So there we go. That's the state of play at the moment. I have no plans for getting more trees, but I will be going to the Staverton boot sale, I think it's classed as. It's basically in a field. It's not a long way away from where I am. It's a nice day out, some nice food, and lots of private sellers, so there's some good bargains to be had. And the traders are there as well, so it's quite a nice mixture there, you know. Some people who are downsizing their collection, getting rid of a few trees. So I will certainly be going to that. I might go to Heathrow this year. I missed it last year. The problem is it always coincides with something else on the same weekend on the Saturday, which I'm obliged to go to. So there we are. That's what I've done so far. Not happy with that bit at the moment, but I'm okay with that one on that stand in that dark corner. That lights up nicely, especially when the sun comes. It's a dull day at the moment. It looks like it's going to rain. This is sort of okay here. It's quite low down, but the trees come up above. You know, the view from the kitchen window is what I'm after. And when I'm working on my orchids in here, I'm just after being able to look out and see my bonsai trees as part of the garden design. Not dominating, not taking over, not anything like that, just part of. So that's the idea. And yeah, so that's an update on my trees, what I've got, and how they are at the moment. And I think these stands have worked okay. These two I'm okay with where they are and what they've got on them. But yeah, that bit there I'm not so keen on. We'll work on it. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.